What is going on, everyone? Welcome to my review for Star Wars The Clone Wars Season 5, Episode 8, Bound for Rescue. This is the third part in the Young Jedi Arc, four-part arc. There's one more part after this that's a Necessary Bond, and I'm a week late to release this review, but do not worry, Necessary Bond will be out later tonight. But for now, just you can chew on this review, guys. And this will be the first review to be released on my new channel, SaiTorrsReviews. And as part of doing so, I have like a sort of a new resolution with my reviews. I'm not going to restate the plot of the episode. This is something I usually do just for the sake of everyone being aware of what happened. But really, all it is just seeing my perspective of how the story went down, which is really unnecessary in the long run. So for now on, if you want to watch this review, it's gonna be spoiler. So no more spoil. This all my reviews are usually spoiler filled, but this one, from now I'm gonna make that a regular thing that they are spoiler filled. So no plot, guys, just a review and a conclusion. But let's go right ahead. So, first let's talk about the plot. How easy was understanding what happened in this episode? And one of the things that might, trip people up as confusing is the switching back between Obi-Wan getting caught in the space battle when General Grievous drops out of hyperspace and the young Jedi going to save the pirates. Now, these are two different things. Easy enough to differentiate between. Though it just kind of ticks me a bit that they have this awesome epic space battle that we saw quite a bit in the trailer, and it was a pretty big deal too. It's nothing to be assured light upon that this was something that happened within 2 seconds, kind of like a C-3PO and R2-D2 episode. But that's more so what this episode felt like. It felt like a C-3PO and R2-D2 adventure, except replace C-3PO and R2-D2 with the younglings. That's what this episode felt like. And you just have the space battle that you don't know why it happens until the next episode. And it's basically that General Grievous has been sent to control the region and capture Hondo Ohnaka's base. That's why he was sent. But you find that on Necessary Bond. Though if I made this review a week ago, I would be saying, where did this battle come out of nowhere? I mean, it just makes no sense. Another thing, why would there be? I guess I shouldn't complain. I was gonna say that why would there be a Jedi cruiser so close to the Crucible? And how do they not know that the Crucible is somewhere out in space or something? It just seems out of purpose. And do you think Obi-Wan doesn't have priorities? Like maybe at least one of them could be sent to go check the younglings. That would have been an interesting story, to go check the younglings. They're not even there. Um, I can see what they mean, but it's not like they're completely occupied with this battle with General Grievous. They have ways of escaping to seeing the younglings. I'm pretty sure Obi-Wan would have at least wanted to do that himself, though. It just seems eventually that they are kind of like the dead weight here. But this battle seems pretty just like it kind of gives a backstory of why Grievous comes to Ohnaka's base in this second episode, which is all right. I have to say, this was a very impressive fight, though just for the reasons it was there, didn't seem just. Though, of course, like I said, the animation was like top notch. The scenes, especially how Obi-Wan force throws a barrel at Grievous and Cody shoots it and it explodes. There's flames everywhere. Very impressive. The space battles, the Z-95 headhunters, very impressive. I'm pretty sure what they're doing now is, scrap the V-19 Torrent. Here's the Z-95, and here comes the ARC-170 right down the road. I think that's how it goes now. But I just really wish that they need to start focusing on having these big epic battles, fill up an episode, have more purpose. We haven't gotten any episode like that in a long time, not since season 2 or season 3, I believe, where the whole episode is just a big battle. We haven't seen that in a long time. Well, I guess you could consider season 4 like that, but no space battle except for like destroy Malevolence. But really, space battles are only designed to happen in 1/4 of an episode. So, really, it's not much they can do with it. I just wish they gave a little more focus, gave a little more build up to the scene instead of, okay, let's stick Obi-Wan nearby. Let's stick Obi-Wan and his cruiser in space somewhere. How about near the Crucible? Yeah, that sounds good. And it just seems like they were just too much like dead weights elements to stick in this thing. It's irrelevant to the story of the Young Jedi. But basically, that was my thoughts on the space battle. It was impressive, just kind of disappointing for the reasons it was there. But let's move on to let's think about the Young Jedi. Why they're part of the arc. I think they've certainly stood out more in this episode than before. Um, they've this show always figures out somehow to find the obscure elements of Star Wars, even more than the movies ever have. Well, unless you count the Gungans, but too late for that. But it's just they always figure out how to find the obscure elements of Star Wars, and they find Prago's Carnival, which I thought was hilarious. Honestly, they had the Gamorrean that looked like a clown. That was pretty cool. They had that tame Narglatch, which we haven't seen since season one. That's pretty cool. Um, just all the things that they had there that they were just honestly very humorous, very funny. I think they did a good job with that, sort of making a Star Wars carnival. Of course, they made some Indiana Jones references. They used some Hutt slaves from the what was it? They used some Hutt slaves from the Hunt for Zero episode. Um, they had like a bunch of elements here that they've used before, and it all comes together here in Prago's Carnival. And so we have the young Jedi who've snuck aboard this thing, which I was a little just like face palming at the moment, like, what has this come to? This is Disney. And so it actually wasn't that bad. In the long run, I thought it was a good idea to have sort of this carnival that comes in. We do need an obscure element like that. Otherwise, this episode just feels like nothing. Like, oh, they're a young Jedi. They have the Force. They can do anything. That's not true. You're based up. You're facing pirates with blasters. You just made your lightsaber like 2 hours ago. So don't think you are the heroes quite yet. Uh, But yeah, when they got Hondo on that board and flew him up, and then he just hits this like sort of like pull up bar in the background, and that must have hurt. Just imagine like falling down, breaking your back, would have hurt. But yeah, so I thought that whole scene was very clever. I thought, especially the costumes the kids dressed up in. Um, I think, yeah, Biff, this is definitely the costumes they had. I read on StarWars.com, what they were wearing was honestly Animal Instinct. Um, Especially how Petro's a Gundark, that seems like his personality a lot. Um, Zat was a Rancor, though at first I thought he was a Zillo Beast. I wasn't sure about that. I could see as a Rancor, but then, there's, I think Katuni was, she was dressed up as one of the ladies from Temple of Doom, Indiana Jones. Of course, whenever you have something like a carnival involved, it's gonna have an Indiana Jones reference, or if there's a bar involved, it has an Indiana Jones reference. Of course, they always have to stick that in. It's a trade-off thing for Lucasfilm. But honestly, that was just an interesting scene. I think that were done really well. But how's the pacing of this episode? The pacing is pretty good, though. It just seems like the space battle part just jumped up too much. Like, okay, we're gonna go to this mid-pace young Jedi thing, and then we're gonna move over to this Obi-Wan space battle, which is just a rush. I mean, and it happened so quickly. It was like after the second half of the episode, then it was over. Um, kind of questionable, but but other than that, it's just at the end, it was quick. It was a quick getaway. The episode ended very quickly. It starts off where the next episode starts off where this episode ended. Not too terrible. But, there's not much else I can say about this episode than what it actually had, which was some sort of obscure elements, this quick space battle. That about sums up my thoughts of the episode. So, all in all, I think this episode deserves a 7 out of 10. the space battle was very impressive, though it wasn't very solid. Just to offer some backstory for General Grievous. I liked seeing how the younglings had to get to Hondo Naka's place somehow. They didn't. I was expecting after the last 2 episodes that when they said that they prepare a daring rescue, I was expecting them to go up to the pirates with the lightsabers and be like, "Back off! We got lightsabers. We can use your force. We're gonna come at you." And that's honestly what I was expecting, but no, they didn't have that. It was, it was a pretty obscure scene, but it was very funny. It worked out for the best. But yes, 7 out of 10. I think this episode well deserves that rank. So thank you for watching. Tell me what you think of my review. It was kind of all over the place, but it was just an honest opinion. Stay tuned for my review on A Necessary Bond. That'll be up in a few hours. And thank you for watching.